path of truth! I don't allow intruders in my laboratory!
Did you hear that? Hold your interpretation!
Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. In this video we're going to take a look at KVD Boom Boom, the best build for this gun, the best mods, best armor pieces and everything else. I hope you enjoy this video. Let's start by explaining the gun and the keyword. The keyword of this gun is going to be burn. Burn is a continuous damage that deals 12% of your PSI intensity as a status damage every 0.5 seconds for 6 seconds. That means every second it will deal two times. So that will be 12 times, and it can be stacked up to 5 times. Every time that you stack, you will get another 12% of PSI intensity. That means at max stack, you will deal 60% of your PSI intensity as a status damage. The additional damage is going to be blaze. It will not crit, it will not hit weak spot, and it will not decay with distance. The gun itself, the first passive is 18% chance to trigger burn on hit. Second passive, whenever you hit a target, it will trigger an explosion that deals 300% of your PSI intensity as AoE blaze damage with 2-second cooldown. The damage against other players reduced to 40%. The explosion will apply 1 stack of burn, and your blaze damage in general is increased by 30%. For demonstrating the passive, basically every time that you hit a target, it is guaranteed to cause an explosion, and the explosion will apply 1 stack of burn, and it will deal AoE damage to anyone around the target with a very huge radius. As you can see, it will deal damage to all the enemies, and it will apply a stack to everyone. For your weapon mod, between these 4 choices, Flame Resonance is going to be the best option, since it will increases your burn max stack by 2, but your burn duration will be shorter. With this mod, instead of 5 stack, you will have 7 stacks. Another option that you can use is going to be Embers, and you can only use this mod if you're using Hardy Gloves, since whenever you reach the max number of stacks for burn, this key armor will trigger an explosion that deals 300% of your PSI intensity, but all of your burn stacks will be removed. But using the embers, only half of your stacks will be removed, so you can trigger the explosion much faster. For the substats, you want to look for either talent or burn suffix. For burn suffix, you want to look for blaze damage with burn trigger time if it's possible, but the blaze damage have more priority than burn trigger time. So it will comes with burn by it's a fixed attribute. You want to look for blaze damage, burn trigger time, and damage against either normal, elite, or great ones. For talent suffix, you want to look for a status damage and damage against normal, elite, or great ones, depends on your content of the game. For the calibration on this gun, you want to mainly look for 3 options. A steady machine gun or a stabilized style with double elemental if you're having trouble with the recoil on the gun. The next option is going to be rapid shot style for fire rate with double elemental, and lastly it will be overflow machine gun as your last option with double elemental for bonus magazine capacity up to 70%. For your key armor on this build, there are multiple options that you can use. I will go from the worst to the best. The worst option that you can use is Drifter Gauntlet, since it will not give you any meaningful stat. It will give you weapon and crit rate that we are not using, and also you will not get any of these stats since you need to be affected by burn, not enemies. The next option is going to be Fire Rune Boots. Every time that you hit an enemy that is inflicted by burn, there is a chance that drops you a deviated particle that increases your blaze damage by 30% for 15 seconds. This key armor can perform very well, but since it's not going to be the best option for KVD and it's not made for KVD, we are not going to rank it higher than this. The next option is going to be Hardy Gloves. Every time that you reach max stack burn on an enemy, it will cause an explosion that deals 300% of your PSI intensity, and all of your burn stacks will be removed on that target. This is a very good option if you're using embers as your weapon mod, since it will only remove half of your stacks. But this one and the Fire Rune Boots, they are going to perform similarly, and compared to the other two ones that I want to explain to you, they're not going to perform that good. The next option is basically a tie between barbecue gloves and earthly boots. For barbecue gloves, it will increases your burn damage frequency up to 100%, depends on your burn stacks. Basically, it will make your burn deal damage instead of 0.5 second to 0.25 second. So it will make your burn damage waiting time shorter. And for the earthly boots, it will increases all of your damage against target with bullseye up to 30%. So this option is very good for bursting down bosses or elite enemies in less than 2 seconds. And barbecue gloves is very good for having a consistent DPS and burning enemies over time. For the playstyle on the earthly boots for bursting down the bosses as fast as possible, you basically want to apply the bullseye first and then shoot with your KVD at the same time as your pyrodino. If I just shoot at this moment with the KVD, I do 21,000 on the explosion. And if I do the same thing with the bullseye, I will do 30,000. And if I do the same thing but with the pyrodino that look like this, you apply the bullseye, you summon pyrodino, and you shoot. And it will increases your damage by a lot. It's just 1 million without any foot buffs or anything, or any damage against normal enemies here. So that's how you're bursting down the bosses. For your armor pieces, it depends on your playstyle. For low HP builds with Lunar mods, I recommend going 4-piece Treacherous, 1-piece Lone Wolf, and barbecue gloves. This is a general build for most of the situations like silos, bosses, and open world exploration. For one-shot build with Lunar mods, I recommend going 3-piece Treacherous, 2-piece Shelterer, and Earthly Boots for your key armor. And for full HP builds without Lunar mods, I recommend going 4-piece Shelter, 1-piece Lone Wolf, and barbecue gloves. And the same thing for one-shot build, you want to replace your boots with earthly boots and your gloves with any other pieces that you want. For your armor mods, I will recommend low HP builds and then another option for full HP builds. For the low HP, I recommend going Deviation Expert with Lunar suffix as your main priority, with elemental and status together and damage against X type of enemies. You can also look for talent if you don't have a very good Lunar mod. You can go with talent with status damage and damage against X type of enemies. For full HP builds, I recommend going Elemental Havoc. This mod will give you 20% elemental damage, and you want to look for talent suffix. You can also use Deviation Expert for full HP builds. It depends on your choice. You want fire rate with the status or you want 20% elemental. For your top, you can go whatever you want here, but my recommendation is going to be quick comeback for faster reloads, since this gun have a very long reload time. So quick comeback can help you to refill your magazine just using an activator. And you want to look for low HP players, you want to look for Lunar suffix with elemental status again and damage against X type of enemies. And you can also look for talent with the status and elemental. And for full HP builds, you just need to go with talent. For your pants, you want to look for Reload Rampage or Elemental Resonance. Elemental Resonance will give you 24% elemental damage, and Reload Rampage will give you 2 more bullets every time you kill an enemy, and it will give you 10% weapon and status damage. For low HP and full HP builds, you want to go with any of these options, and for the suffixes, you want to look for talent or look for Downstar. For your pants, you want for low HP players, you want to look for Rush Hour with talent suffix or Downstar suffix. And for full HP players, you want to either look for Covered Advanced or Slow and Steady. They both give you 20% status, weapon, and melee damage. With the same suffix, you want to look for talent and Downstar. For your gloves, you want to go with Elemental Overload with talent suffix that should include the status and elemental and damage against either grade 1, normal, or elite. And for your mask, you only have one option, and that option is going to be Blaze Amplifier. For every stack of burn, you will get 3% bonus PSI intensity damage. So if you combine this with Flame Resonance, it will give you 7 times 3% PSI intensity. And for the suffix, you want to look for burn as your main priority, with burn damage, blaze damage, and damage against X type of enemies, and if it's possible, going with burn trigger time. Your second option is going to be talent with elemental damage, status, and damage against X type of enemies. For your deviant on this build, you want to look for Pyrodino. It's by far the best deviant that you can use for burn builds. It will attack and target, and that target will receive 39.2% more blaze damage. And it will also cause an explosion that deals basically around 1200% of your PSI intensity and your status damage. You want to look for a skill rating of 5 in order to reach the 39.2% increased blaze damage and the maximum ratio of the explosion. For explaining the deviant, basically it have 2 attack modes. If you're far away, it will shoot fireball, and if you're close, it will basically spit fire. And if I attack this target, it will basically cause 2 explosions. And as you can see, my damage increases by a lot. For food buffs in this build, I will start with the drinks. The main option is going to be Whimsical Drink for increasing your status damage by 25%, and if you're using Mimetics and the Chef Dino, it can go up to 44%. The next option can be Stardust Energy Drink for double jump and Stardust Mushroom Soup for bonus stamina and stamina recovery. They are not related to damage, and they're only good for exploration or having your tactical lib activated. For food buffs, I recommend some options. The main option is going to be Mixed Fried Hot Dog for increasing your damage against targets that are affected by Bullseye up to 20%, and with buffs and perks this can go up to 27%. The next option for killing great ones is going to be Bone and Deviated Sausage. It will give you 15% damage against great ones. And for increasing your blaze damage, I recommend going Hearty Meat Stew. It will increases your blaze damage by 15%. It's a very great option. And the other option, it can also be Surprise Spring Roll. That will increases your all elemental damage from 5 to 15%, and it will be doubles if you're below 40%. That's it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in comments which gun do you want me to cover next, and see you all in next video.